Amid the Roses by Alice Ruth Moore, aka Alice Dunbar. This is a LibriVox recording by Yasmin Hoshnud. There is tropical warmth and languorous life, where the roses lie, in a tempting drift, of pink and red and golden light, untouched as yet by the pruning knife. And the still, warm life of the roses fair, that whisper, "Come," with promises of sweet caresses close and pure, has a thorny whiff in the perfumed air. There are thorns and love in the rose's bed, and Satan too must linger there. So Satan's wiles and the conscious stings must now abide. The roses are dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Andalusian Moonlight by Arthur O'Shaughnessy, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. In a lifted palace I dwell apart, changeful in glimmer and shade, alone with my dream, and alone with my heart, and the music my life hath made. There, deep in the dimness, some white pillar's slimness figures my dreamlike thought, and, fainting in flowers, some fountain for hours murmurs over my music untaught. When midnight renders the place more fair with shadowy magic and thrill, and the moonlight floods all the odorous air beneath on the rustling hill, I see red roses in the laurel closes and the glossy citron trees, and thought refashions past life and passions as the moonlight glorifies these. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Harvest by Joseph Campbell, read for LibriVox.org by Nemo. Harvest. Earth travails like a woman come to her time. The swaying corn haulms in the heavy places of the field cry to be gathered. Apples redden and drop from their rods. Out of their sheath of prickly leaves the marrows creep, fat and white. The blue pallor of ripeness comes on the fruit of the vine branch. Fecund and still fecund after aeons of bearing, not old, not dry, not wearied out, but fresh as when the unseen right hand first moved on Brie, and the candle of days was set, and dew fell from the stars' feet, and cloths of greenness covered thee. Let me kiss thy breast, I am thy son and lover. Womb fellow am I of the sunburnt oat, friendly gossip of the mearings, womb fellow of the dark and sweet-scented apple, womb fellow of the gourd and of the grape, like begotten, like born. And yet, without a lover's knowledge of thy secrets, I would walk the ridges of the hills, kindless and desolate. What were the storm-driven moon to me, seed of another father? What the overflowing of the well of dawn? What the hollow red with rowan fire? What the king fern? What the belled heath? What the drum of grouse's wing, or glint of spar, caught from the pit of a deserted quarry? Let me kiss thy breast, I am thy son and lover. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Bethlehem by Michael Earls, read for LibriVox.org by Kachuk. O ye who sail Potomac's eventide to Verdun shades, our chieftain's hallowed mound, or who at distant shrines high paeans sound in Alfred's cult, old England's morning pride, or seek Versailles, conceited as a bride, with garish memories of kins strewn round, or lay your spirit's cheek on Forum ground, for here a mighty Caesar lived and died. To these and other stones, O ye who speed, since there, forsooth, a prince was passing great, more zealous let your hearts adoring heed the child most royal in a crib's estate. No poor so poor, no king more king than he. Come, better pilgrims, to this mystery. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
But a Short Time to Live by Leslie Coulson. Read for LibriVox.org by Tony Ripley. Our little hour, how swift it flies when poppies flare and lilies smile. How soon the fleeting minute dies, leaving us but a little while to dream our dream, to sing our song, to pick the fruit, to pluck the flower. The gods, they do not give us long, 1 little hour. Our little hour, how short it is, when love with dew-eyed loveliness raises her lips for ours to kiss, and dies within our first caress. Youth flickers out like wind-blown flame, sweets of today, tomorrow sour, for time and death relentless claim our little hour. Our little hour, how short a time to wage our wars, to fan our hates, to take our fill of armoured crime, to troop our banners, storm the gates. Blood on the sword, our eyes blood red, blind in our puny reign of power. Do we forget how soon is sped our little hour? Our little hour, how soon it dies, how short a time to tell our beads, to chant our feeble litanies, to think sweet thoughts, to do good deeds. The altar lights grow pale and dim, the bells hang silent in the tower, so passes with the dying hymn our little hour. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Deputy by Ambrose Bierce. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Deputy. Chief Deputy, the master cried, today the books are to be tried by experts and accountants who have been commissioned to go through our office here to see if we have stolen injudiciously. Please have the proper entries made, the proper balances displayed, conforming to the whole amount of cash on hand, which they will count. I've long admired your punctual way, here at the break and close of day, confronting in your chair the crowd of businessmen whose voices loud and gestures violent you quell by some mysterious, calm spell. Some magic lurking in your look that brings the noisiest to book and spreads a holy and profound tranquillity over all around. So orderly all's done that they who came to draw remain to pay. But now the time demands, at last, that you employ your genius vast in energies more active. Rise, and shake the lightnings from your eyes, inspire your underlings, and fling your spirit into everything. The master's hand here dealt a whack upon the deputy's bent back, when straightway to the floor there fell a shrunken globe, a rattling shell, a blackened, withered eyeless head. The man had been a 12-month dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Desire by Helen Hoyt. Read for LibriVox.org by Matt Perard. Once you were always calling me when I could not answer, urging me where I could not follow, so that I wished I had been born without desire, as a stone. But now many days you have left me, and in the silence I have learned your meaning. For a part of me is gone when you are gone. I am less, and the world is less. Oh, let me have my longing back again. Now, gladly I will bear it. Gladly I will hold it to me, though without release, always. For what would be the pride of the sun itself with its light gone? Oh, kindle me again, desire. Return to me. Return. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Falconer of God by William Rose Benet. Read for LibriVox.org by Nemo. The Falconer of God. I flung my soul to the air like a falcon flying. I said, wait on while I ride below. I shall start a heron soon, in the marsh beneath the moon, a strange white heron rising with silver on its wings, rising and crying wordless, wondrous things. The secret of the stars, of the world's heart-strings, the answer to their woe. Then stoop thou upon him, and grip and hold him so. My wild soul waited on as falcons hover. I beat the reedy fens as I trampled put. I heard the mournful loon in the marsh beneath the moon. And then, with feathery thunder, the bird of my desire broke from the cover, flashing silver fire. High up among the stars I saw his pinions spire. The pale clouds gazed aghast as my falcon stooped upon him and gripped and held him fast. My soul dropped through the air with heavenly plunder, gripping the dazzling bird my dreaming knew. Nay, but a piteous freight, a dark and heavy weight, despoiled of silver plumage, its voice forever stilled. All of the wonder, gone that ever filled its guise with glory. O bird that I have killed, how brilliantly you flew across my rapturous vision when first I dreamed of you. Yet I fling my soul on high with new endeavor, and I ride the world below with a joyful mind. I shall start a heron soon, in the marsh beneath the moon. A wondrous silver heron its inner darkness fledges. I beat forever the fens and the sedges. The pledge is still the same, for all disastrous pledges, all hopes resigned. My soul still flies above me for the quarry it shall find. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
French Peacock by Marianne Moore. Read for LibriVox.org by Matt Perard. In taking charge of your possessions when you saw them, you became a golden jay. Whatever you admired you charmed away. The color, habit, ornament or attitude of chiseled setting and black opalescent dye, you were the jewelry of sense. Ridiculous at times, you trod the pace of liberty in market-place and court. Molière, the hugger-mugger repertory of your first adventure, is your own affair. Anchorites do not dwell in theatres, and peacocks do not flourish in a cell. Why make distinctions? The results were well when you were on the boards, nor were your triumphs bought at horrifying sacrifice of stringency. Despising sham, you used your sword to riddle the conventions of excess, nor did the king love you the less, nor did the world, in whose chief interest and for whose spontaneous delight your broad tale was unfurled. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Happy Time by Michael Earls. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Two gloomy scenes may be, or count you three: a building hope all crushed at morn, a bridal day in clouds of rain, and night that keeps a mother's pain for tidings of a child forlorn. Of happy times count more. Admit these four: a flower of promise rich with day, a son with victories that wear a halo on his mother's way, and friends whose hearts ring like a chime across the world at Christmas time. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hermes of the Ways by H.D. Read for LibriVox.org by Nemo. Hermes of the Ways. 1. The hard sand breaks, and the grains of it are clear as wine. Far off over the leagues of it, the wind, playing on the wide shore, piles little ridges, and the great waves break over it. But more than the many-foamed ways of the sea, I know him of the triple pathways, Hermes, who awaiteth. Dubious, facing three ways, welcoming wayfarers, he whom the sea orchard shelters from the west, from the east weathers sea wind, fronts the great dunes. Wind rushes over the dunes, and the coarse, salt-crusted grass answers. Hoy! It whips round my ankles. 2. Small is this white stream, flowing below ground from the poplar-shaded hill, but the water is sweet. Apples on the small trees are hard, too small, too late ripened by a desperate sun that struggles through sea mist. The boughs of the trees are twisted by many bafflings. Twisted are the small-leafed boughs. But the shadow of them is not the shadow of the masthead, nor of the torn sails. Hermes, Hermes, the great sea foamed, gnashed its teeth about me, but you have waited where seagrass tangles with shoregrass. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard, amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Memory of Dora by Anonymous. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. In Memory of Dora, a joyous anticipation. Walk very softly here, and very slowly. Let no sound pass the barrier of your teeth. Not that the spot whereon you tread is holy, but lest you rouse her up that lies beneath. She ruthlessly curtailed our golf and skittles. She vetoed daily sprees and nightly jinks. She doled our baccy, and weighed out our victuals, and watered, cruelest of all, our drinks. Anathema by order were our races. Joy-riding was taboo in car or train, and when they ventured to kick over the traces, she strafed her victims till they roared again. Now, where she sleeps the sleep that knows no waking, a simply graven sentence marks the place. The Latin's shaky, but bears no mistaking. Hic jacet Dora, and hic let her jace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Read for LibriVox.org by Tony Ripley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. Read for LibriVox.org by Rosemarie DeSapio. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
I Was Made of This and This by Gertrude Robinson Rose. Read for LibriVox.org by Olga Varfolomieieva. I was made of this and this, an angel's prayer, a gypsy's kiss. My mother bore me prayerfully, and read me sweet as a gift from God, and taught me to look shudderingly on ways my father trod. They buried him long and long ago. I just remember his eyes were blue. He always did, they say who know, things it was wrong to do. He prayed no saints but the little folk, but was his only God. Oh me, the times he laughed when my mother spoke the beads on her rosary. I tend my roof tree and I pray the maid who knew a mother's woe to keep my feet in the gentile way her son would have me go. He swore on oath and drank black gin. He held for things to his heart's delight, the hills, the road, his violin, and open sky at night. He told strange tales that were never true. They buried him long and long ago. It always seemed the things he knew were things it was wrong to know. He scoffed at walls and a garden plot. He held three things to his heart's desire: the river's song, an open spot, the smoke from a driftwood fire. I wonder would I greatly care, Mary, keep my heart from sin, if baby of mine should come to swear round oath and drink black gin? I grieve for my mother's every tear, I weep from the heart in my mother's breast, but ever and ever, at bud or year, I love my father's best. I had never been made of this, the angel's prayer or the gypsy's kiss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Keep the home fires burning till the boys come home, by Lena Gilbert Ford. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. They were summoned from the hillside, they were called in from the glen, and the country found them ready at the stirring call for men. Let no tears add to their hardship as the soldiers pass along, and although your heart is breaking, make it sing this cheery song. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home. Overseas there came a pleading, help a nation in distress, and we gave our glorious laddies honor bade us do no less. For no gallant son of freedom to a tyrant's yoke should bend, and a noble heart must answer to the sacred call of friend. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Line Storm Song by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Schempf. The line storm clouds fly tattered and swift. The road is forlorn all day, where a myriad snow quartz stones lift, and the hoof prints vanish away. The roadside flowers, too wet for the bee, expend their bloom in vain. Come over the hills and far with me, and be my love in the rain. The birds have less to say for themselves in the wood world's torn despair than now these numberless years the elves, although they are no less there. All song of the woods is crushed like some wild, easily shattered rose. Come be my love in the wet woods. come where the boughs rain when it blows. There is the gale to urge behind and bruit our singing down, and the shallow waters aflutter with wind from which to gather your gown. What matter if we go clear to the west and come not through dry shod? For wilding broach shall wet your breast, the rain-fresh goldenrod. Oh, never this whelming east wind swells, but it seems like the sea's return to the ancient lands where it left the shells before the age of the fern. And it seems like the time when after doubt our love came back amain. Oh, come forth into the storm and rout and be my love in the rain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Men of Verdun by Lawrence Binyon. Read for LibriVox.org by Tony Ripley. There are 5 men in the moonlight that by their shadows stand. 3 hobble, humped on crutches, and 2 lack each a hand. Frogs somewhere near the roadside chorus their chant absorbed, but a hush breathes out of the dreamlight that far in heaven is orbed. It is gentle as sleep falling, and wide as thought can span, the ancient peace and wonder that brims the heart of man. Beyond the hills it shines now, but oh, no peace, but the dead. On reek of trenches thunder-shocked, tense fury of wills in wrestle locked, a chaos crumbled red. The 5 men in the moonlight chat, joke, or gaze apart. They talk of days and comrades, but each one hides his heart. They wear clean cap and tunic, as when they went to war. A gleam comes where the medal's pinned, but they will fight no more. The shadows, maimed and antic, gesture and shape distort, like mockery of a demon dumb, out of the hell, din whence they come, that dogs them for his sport. But as if dead men were risen, and stood before me there, with a terrible fame about them blown in beams of spectral air, I see them, men transfigured, as in a dream dilate, fabulous with the Titan throb of battling Europe's fate. For history's hushed before them, and a legend flames afresh. Verdun, the name of thunder, is written on their flesh. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Childhood's Days by Edward Capern. Read for LibriVox.org by Garth Burton. My childhood's days, my childhood's days! What happy thoughts are clinging like ivy in your sunny ways! What melodies are ringing! What golden hours of bygone mirth! What cheeks of rosy beauty! What heavenly moments passed on earth, at home, in love and duty! Oh, then the days went merrily, without a shade of sorrow, and every heart rang cheerily, and hoped a bright to-morrow. Oh, give me back the dreams of youth, those visions bright and glowing, when all was innocence and truth, and joy a cup o'erflowing. The swing upon the garden gate with curly-headed Silo, my romp with Tom and rosy Kate, and merry-making Philo. Oh, then the days went merrily, without a shade of sorrow, and every heart rang cheerily, and hoped a bright to-morrow. Full many a brook, and many a nook, and path through wood and valley, remind me of the road we took upon a nutting sally, and many a gap in hedgerows tell where we in spring went creeping in quest of primrose, fern, and bell, and where we practised leaping. Oh, then the days went merrily, without a shade of sorrow, and every heart rang cheerily, and hoped a bright to-morrow. And now, when winter fires are bright, though friends around are fading, we sit and pass the chilly night, the interest never jading, and tell how life is but a day made up of shade and shining, till childhood's memories round us play, like woodbines gently twining. And then our hearts beat merrily, without a shade of sorrow, and every one sings cheerily, and hopes a bright to-morrow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Nightingale and the Goldfinch by Christian Gellert, 1715 to 1769. Read for LibriVox.org. The Nightingale and the Goldfinch. Come, dear papa, cried Theodore, come listen to this charming bird. Sing, little warbler, sing once more the sweetest notes I ever heard. And now another bird I hear, but not of music such a treat. His note, though pleasing to my ear, is not so strong, nor half so sweet. A lesson for his child in view, of much more worth than song or tale, the father brought in cages two, the goldfinch and the nightingale. Look at these birds, observe them well, he said, and try, I do not jest, if by their looks my boy can tell which is the bird that sings the best. How Theodore the goldfinch praised, with velvet head and golden breast. He cried, delighted as he gazed, this is the bird that sings the best. Then turning to the nightingale, this little brown and dingy thing, he said, with dusky back and tail, I'm pretty sure he cannot sing. The father cried, I see the cause, and in the world 'tis likewise so. There oft will beauty gain applause, while talent must neglected go. But learn, my boy, to wiser be, and ne'er in outward show confide, which often proves, as soon you'll see, a mask to hide conceit and pride. Be talent, modesty, and worth your objects when you seek a friend, more to be prized than wealth or birth, on which mere transient joys depend. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
November by Edward Capern. Read for LibriVox.org by Garth Burton. I know thou art here by thy blood-chilling breath, and the snowfall that drifts by the door, by the gloom of thy presence, the shadow of death, and the wail of the blast on the moor. No golden-streaked cloudlets illumine thy morn, no rainbow o'er-arches thy path. Thy features, begrimed, mark a tyrant forlorn, and thy portion's a cup full of wrath. No smile of the springtime or summer remains, no autumn bird pipes from the tree. The moorland-born child hears thy pat on the panes, and his creeping flesh quivers at thee. October wept rains at the eve of thy birth, and shed her brown leaves with her tears, and cries of despair swept the surface of earth, as she fled from the monster of years. O cruel November, thy presence is drear, thou art death on his pale horse to me, and swift-winged destruction flies fast in thy rear, and points to her parent in thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On Wenlock Edge by A. E. Housman. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. On Wenlock Edge the wood's in trouble, his forest fleece the reekin heaves. The gale, it plies the saplings double, and thick on Severn snow the leaves. 'Twould blow like this through holt and hanger, when Uricon the city stood. 'Tis the old wind in the old anger, but then it threshed another wood. Then 'twas before my time, the Roman at yonder heaving hill would stare. The blood that warms an English yeoman, the thoughts that hurt him, they were there. There, like the wind through woods in riot, through him the gale of life blew high. The tree of man was never quiet. Then 'twas the Roman, now 'tis I. The gale, it plies the saplings double, it blows so hard 'twill soon be gone. Today the Roman and his trouble are ashes under Uricon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Out of Season by Anonymous. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Out of Season. A lyric by the last man in town. Chaos returns, no souls in town, and darkness reigns where lamps once brightened. Shutters are closed and blinds drawn down, untrodden doorsteps go unwhitened. The echoes of some straggler's boots alone are on the pavement ringing, while prentice boys, who smoke cheroots, stand critics to some broom girl's singing. I went to call on Madam Sims, in a dark street, not far from Drury. An Irish crone half oped the door, whose head might represent a fury. At home, sir? No, whisper. But I'll presume to tell the truth or know the raison. She dines, tays, lives in the back room, because 'tis not the London saison. From thence I went to Lady Bloom's, where, after sundry rings and knocking, a yawning, liveried lad appeared, his squalid face his gay clothes mocking. I asked him, in a faltering tone, the house was closed. I guessed the reason. Is Lady B.'s grand aunt then gone? To Ramsgate, sir, until next season. I sauntered on to Harry Gray's, the ennui of my heart to lighten. His landlady, with smirk and smile, said he had just run down to Brighton. When home I turned my steps at last, a tailor, whom to kick were treason, pressed for his bill. I hurried past, politely saying, "Call next season." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Poeta Fit non nascitur by Lewis Carroll. Read for LibriVox.org by MichaelMaggs. How shall I be a poet? How shall I write in rhyme? You told me once the very wish partook of the sublime. Then tell me how. Don't put me off with your another time. The old man smiled to see him, to hear his sudden sally. He liked the lad to speak his mind enthusiastically, and thought there's no humdrum in him, nor any shilly-shally. And would you be a poet before you've been to school? Ah, well, I hardly thought you so absolute a fool. First learn to be spasmodic, a very simple rule. For first you write the sentence, and then you chop it small, then mix the bits and sort them out just as they chance to fall. The order of the phrases makes no difference at all. Then, if you be impressive, remember what I say, that abstract quantities begin with capitals alway. The true, the good, the beautiful, those are the things that pay. Next, when you are describing a shape or sound or tint, don't state the matter plainly, but put it in a hint, and learn to look at all things with a sort of mental squint. For instance, if I wished, sir, of mutton pies to tell, should I say, dreams of fleecy flocks pent in a wheaten cell? Why, yes, the old man said, that phrase would answer very well. Then fourthly, there are epithets that suit with any word, as well as Harvey's Reading sauce, with fish or flesh or bird. Of these, wild, lonely, weary, strange, are much to be preferred. And will it do, oh, will it do to take them in a lump? As the wild man went his weary way to a strange and lonely pump? Nay, nay, you must not hastily to such conclusions jump. Such epithets like pepper give zest to what you write, and if you strew them sparely they whet the appetite. But if you lay them on too thick, you spoil the matter quite. Last, as to the arrangement, your reader, you should show him, must take what information he can get, and look for no immature disclosure of the drift and purpose of your poem. Therefore, to test his patience, how much he can endure, mention no places, names, or dates, and evermore be sure throughout the poem to be found consistently obscure. First fix upon the limit to which it shall extend, then fill it up with padding. Beg some of any friend. Your great sensation stanza you place towards the end. And what is a sensation, grandfather? Tell me, pray. I think I never heard the word so used before today. Be kind enough to mention one exempli gratiae. And the old man, looking sadly across the garden lawn, where here and there a dewdrop yet glittered in the dawn, said, Go to the Adelphi and see the colleen born. The word is due to Bosico, the theory is his, where life becomes a spasm and history a whiz. If that is not sensation, I don't know what it is. Now try your hand, ere fancy have lost its present glow, and then, his grandson added, we'll publish it, you know. Green cloth, gold lettered at the back in 12mo. Then proudly smiled that old man to see the eager lad rush madly for his pen and ink, and for his blotting pad. But when he thought of publishing, his face grew stern and sad. End of poem. This poem is in the public domain.
Quiet by John Spencer Murad. Read for LibriVox.org by Janis Hopkins. There is a flame within me that has stood, unmoved, untroubled, through a mist of years, knowing nor love nor laughter, nor hope nor fears, nor foolish throb of ill, nor wine of good. I feel no shadow of the winds that brood. I hear no whisper of a tide that veers. I weave no thought of passion nor of tears, unfettered I of time, of habitude. I know no birth, I know no death that chills. I fear no fate nor fashion, cause nor creed. I shall outdream the slumber of the hills. I am the bud, the flower, I the seed. For I do know that in whatever I see, I am the part, and it the soul of me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Regret by Victor Hugo. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Schempf. Oui, la bonne heure, bien vite à passer. Book 5-2, February 1821. Yes, happiness hath left me soon behind. Alas, we all pursue its steps, and when we've sunk to rest within its arms entwined, like the Phoenician virgin, wake and find ourselves alone again. Then, through the distant future's boundless space, we seek the lost companion of our days. Return, return, we cry, and lo, apace pleasure appears, but not to fill the place of that we mourn always. I, should unhallowed pleasure woo me now, will to the wanton sorceress say, Begone! Respect the cypress on my mournful brow. Lost happiness hath left regret, but thou leavest remorse alone. Yet, haply lest I check the mounting fire, O friends, that in your revelry appears, with you I'll breathe the air which ye respire, and smiling hide my melancholy lyre when it is wet with tears. Each in his secret heart perchance doth own some fond regret, 'neath passing smiles concealed. Sufferers alike together and alone are we, with many a grief to others known, how many unrevealed. Alas, for natural tears and simple pains, for tender recollections cherished long, for guileless griefs which no compunction stains, we blush, as if we wore these earthly chains only for sport and song. Yes, my blessed hours have fled without a trace. In vain I strove their parting to delay. Brightly they beamed, then left a cheerless space, like an o'er-clouded smile that in the face lightens and fades away. Fraser's Magazine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Romance by Andrew Lang. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. My love dwelt in a northern land. A grey tower in a forest green was hers, and far on either hand the long wash of the waves was seen, and leagues on leagues of yellow sand, the woven forest boughs between. And through the silver northern night the sunset slowly died away, and herds of strange deer, lily white, stole forth among the branches grey. About the coming of the light they fled like ghosts before the day. I know not if the forest green still girdles round that castle grey. I know not if the boughs between the white deer vanish ere the day. Above my love the grass is green. My heart is colder than the clay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Shepherd and Philosopher by John Gay, 1685 to 1732. Read for LibriVox.org. The Shepherd and Philosopher. Remote from cities lived a swain, unvexed with all the cares of gain. His head was silvered o'er with age, and long experience made him sage. In summer's heat and winter's cold, he fed his flock and penned the fold. His hours in cheerful labors flew, nor envy nor ambition knew. His wisdom and his honest fame through all the country raised his name. A deep philosopher, whose rules of moral life were drawn from schools, the shepherd's homely cottage sought, and thus explored his reach of thought. Whence is thy learning? Hath thy toil over books consumed the midnight oil? Hast thou old Greece and Rome surveyed, and the vast sense of Plato weighed? Has Socrates thy soul refined, and hast thou fathomed Tully's mind? Or like the wise Ulysses thrown by various fates on realms unknown, hast thou through many cities strayed, their customs, laws, and manners weighed? The shepherd modestly replied, I ne'er the paths of learning tried, nor have I roamed in foreign parts to read mankind their laws and arts. For man is practised in disguise, he cheats the most discerning eyes. Who by that search shall wiser grow, when we ourselves can never know? The little knowledge I have gained was all from simple nature drained. Hence my life's maxims took their rise, hence grew my settled hate to vice. The daily labors of the bee awake my soul to industry. Who can observe the careful ant and not provide for future want? My dog, the truest of his kind, with gratitude inflames my mind. I mark his true, his faithful way, and in my service copy Tray. In constancy and nuptial love, I learn my duties from the dove, the hen who from the chilly air with pious wing protects her care, and every fowl that flies at large instructs me in a parent's charge. From nature too I take my rule, to shun contempt and ridicule. I never with important air in conversation overbear. Can grave and formal pass for wise, when man the solemn I'll despise? My tongue within my lips I rein, for who talks much must talk in vain. We from the wordy torrent fly, who listens to the chattering pie? Nor would I with felonious sleight by stealth invade my neighbor's right. Rapacious animals we hate, kites, hawks, and wolves deserve their fate. We do not just abhorrence find against the toad and serpent kind, but envy, calumny, and spite bear stronger venom in their bite. Thus every object of creation can furnish hints to contemplation, and from the most minute and mean a virtuous mind can morals glean. Thy fame is just, the sage replies, thy virtue proves thee truly wise. Pride often guides the author's pen, books are affected as are men. But he who studies nature's laws from certain truths his maxims draws, and those without our schools suffice to make men moral, good and wise. Moral: Nature teaches the truest philosophy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Soldier by Rupert Brooke. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave, once, her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. And think this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends, and gentleness in hearts at peace under an English heaven. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Songs for the People, a poem by Francis E.W. Harper. This is the LibriVox recording by Yasmin Hoshnud. Let me make the songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to stir like a battle cry wherever they are sung. Not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men for abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged, where shadows dim their sight, of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong, to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of men grown tender girdle the world with peace. This poem is in the public domain.
Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no! It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet VII by Hartley Coleridge, read for LibriVox.org by Bubba Spear. Is love a fancy or a feeling? No. It is immortal as immaculate truth. 'Tis not a blossom shed as soon as youth drops from the stem of life. For it will grow in barren regions where no waters flow, nor rays of promise cheats the pensive gloom. A darkling fire, faint hovering o'er a tomb, that but itself and darkness not doth show. It is my love's being, yet it cannot die. Nor will it change, though all be changed beside. Though fairest beauty be no longer fair, though vows be false and faith itself deny, though sharp enjoyment be a suicide, and hope a spectre in a ruin bare. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Thanksgivings, translated from a traditional Iroquois prayer by Harriet Maxwell Converse. Read for LibriVox.org by Philip Gould. We who are here present thank the Great Spirit that we are here to praise Him. We thank Him that He has created men and women, and ordered that these beings shall always be living to multiply the earth. We thank Him for making the earth, and giving these beings its products to live on. We thank Him for the water that comes out of the earth, and runs for our lands. We thank Him for all the animals on the earth. We thank Him for certain timbers that grow and have fluids coming from them for us all. We thank Him for the branches of the trees that grow shadows for our shelter. We thank Him for the beings that come from the west, the thunder and lightning that water the earth. We thank Him for the light which we call our oldest brother, the sun that works for our good. We thank Him for all the fruits that grow on the trees and vines. We thank Him for His goodness in making the forests, and thank all its trees. We thank Him for the darkness that gives us rest, and for the kind being of the darkness that gives us light, the moon. We thank Him for the bright spots in the skies that give us signs, the stars. We give Him thanks for our supporters, who had charge of our harvests. We give thanks that the voice of the Great Spirit can still be heard through the words of Gane o Dio. We thank the Great Spirit that we have the privilege of this pleasant occasion. We give thanks for the persons who can sing the Great Spirit's music, and hope they will be privileged to continue in His faith. We thank the Great Spirit for all the persons who perform the ceremonies on this occasion. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
There Will Come Soft Rains by Sarah Teasdale. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Wartime. There will come soft rains and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. And not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And Spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
This is My Letter to the World by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. This is my letter to the world that never wrote to me, the simple news that nature told with tender majesty. Her message is committed to hands I cannot see. For love of her, sweet countrymen, judge tenderly of me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Tide Rises, the Tide Falls by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Rosemarie DeSapio. The tide rises, the tide falls. The twilight darkens, the curlew calls. Along the sea sands damp and brown, the traveler hastens toward the town. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Darkness settles on roofs and walls, but the sea in darkness calls. The little waves with their soft white hands efface the footprints in the sands, and the tide rises, the tide falls. The morning breaks, the steeds in their stalls stamp and neigh as the hostler calls. The day returns, but never more returns the traveler to the shore. And the tide rises, the tide falls. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Time of Truce by Michael Earls. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Two young lads from childhood up drank together friendship's cup. Joe was glad with Bill at play. Bill was home to Joe alway. On their friendship came the blight of a little thoughtless fight. Then, alas, each passing day farther bore these friends away. There was grief in either heart, bleeding deep from sorrow's dart, when, in thoughtfulness again, each beheld the other's pain. But the shades of night are furled when the morning takes the world, and the Christmas days of peace make our little quarrels cease. Bill and Joe on Christmas Day met as in the olden way. Bill put out his hand to Joe. It was Christmas Day, you know. Bill and Joe are friends again, and to them long years remain. Time may take them far away. They keep Christmas every day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Unknown Soul by Edward Rowland Seal. Read for LibriVox.org by Olga Varfolomieieva. O soul, that somewhere art my very kin, from dusk and silence unto thee I call, I know not where thou dwellest, if within a palace or a hut, if great or small, thou state and store of fortune, if thou'rt sad, this moment almost glad, the lordest monarch or the lowest thrall. But well I know, since thou'rt my counterpart, thou bear'st a clouded spirit, full of doubt, and all misgiving, heaviness of heart and loneliness of mind, long wearing out, with climbing stairs that lead to nothing sure, with chasing lights that lure in the thick murk that wraps us all about. As across many instruments a flute breathes low, and only thrills its selfsame tone, that wakes in music while the rest are mute, so send thy voice to me, then I alone shall hear and answer, and we two will fare together and each bear twin burdens lighter now than either one. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Two Meetings by Edward Capern. Read for LibriVox.org by Garth Burton. We met when her spirit was blithesome and young, and the hope of her heart was romantic and strong, when a silvery tinkle rang out as she spoke, and a new cherub joy with each moment awoke. We met where the wild thyme empurpled the moor, and the foxglove and heather bloom tinted it o'er, and we played with the harebell that danced by our side, and lovingly looked while we silently sighed. In her hand a rich posy of beauties she bore, composed of a score of sweet roses or more. The poppy was there with its petals on fire, and the white vestured lily, and woodbine and briar. A ray of rich light was adorning her hair, as if a fond sunbeam in love lingered there, and the radiance that gleamed from her azure dipped eyes told an eloquent story of summer lit skies. We met once again, but the beautiful maid by the cold hand of death in her coffin was laid. Her spirit had gone, but she smiled in her shroud. So suns, after setting, oft brighten a cloud. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Verses on the Constitutions, from a collection of the Constitutions of the 13 States of North America, published by Order of Congress, 1783. Read for LibriVox.org. Verses on the Constitutions. Most human forms of government were made for low ambitions more than virtue's aid. Some barbarous were, hastening to a throne, and deeming what he conquered all his own, devised a fort of laws for ruling men, that suit the savage monsters of the den. Laws that were made a tyrant to secure the cobwebs of the rich to catch the poor. But now, behold, a set of new-born states, their western shores the vast Atlantic beats, whose constitutions have no other plan nor aim than this, the happiness of man. While wonder at these legislators grew, I asked whence they their institutions drew, whence they had learned so happily to join the good of many with the good of one, and learned to make rough rigor act its part, yet spare the finer feelings of the heart. deeming no ruler faithful to his trust, who is not generous as well as just. Perhaps their wisdom's borrowed from the store of civil policy in ancient lore, from him who knew to form a warlike race, or Solon who excelled in arts of peace. Perhaps they've culled from states of modern days whate'er was best and most deserving praise. Perhaps, in fine, they searched utopian schemes, from Grecian Plato's down to David Hume's. Such were my thoughts, as at the close of day, through a sequestered vale I took my way. A form surrounded with an heavenly light, of mien majestic, burst upon my sight. 'Twas Liberty, in all her steps was grace, the love of humankind glowed in her face. Extensive knowledge is her faithful guide, and virtue walks for e'er at her side. By her a flowing sea-green robe is worn, which rivers, woods, and 13 stripes adorn. The heavenly power approached, and silence broke. These words, or words like these, were what she spoke. 'Twas not from history, nor from ancient lays, nor from the politics of modern days, these constitutions were derived. They're mine, framed to secure and to extend my reign, to crush forever fierce oppression's might, and feeble injured innocence to right, to raise poor industry where'er she lay, beneath some great or little tyrant's sway, and make her view with a triumphant smile the fruits, how fair the fight, of all her toil. To do what legislation can to cure the various ills that human hearts endure, those of reward who in the arts excel, and e'en the weakest who endeavor well. To cherish in religion truth alone, yet leave the faith of citizens their own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When Christmas Calls by Grantland Rice. Read for LibriVox.org by Phil Schempf. Christmas has called, and I want to go home. Christmas has whispered, and out through the night there's something which beckons to us who must roam far from the berries of scarlet and white. There's something which beckons, and out on the road we follow the way of a dream that is old, and weary the traveler and heavy the load of those who may never turn back to the fold. I want to go back to the day where at dawn a tow-headed youngster rushed forth with a whoop to the clarion call of the little tin horn and the roll of the drum as it summoned its troop of the tin soldier legion with muskets agleam, serried and straight in an unbroken row. I want to go back where a fellow can dream of a Christmas like that in the long time ago. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
White Witchcraft by Robert Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. When a boy, Browning had a humble friend in the person of a toad. He visited it daily, where it burrowed under a white rose tree, announcing himself by a pinch of gravel dropped into its hole, and the creature would crawl forth, allow its head to be gently tickled, and reward the act with a loving glance of its soft, full eyes. Mrs. Orr. If you and I could change to beasts, what beast should either be? Shall you and I play Jove for once? Turn fox then, I decree. Shy, wild, sweet stealer of the grapes, now do your worst on me. And thus you think to spite your friend, turned loathsome? What, a toad? So, all men shrink and shun me. Dear men, pursue your road. Leave but my crevice in the stone, a reptile's fit abode. Now say your worst, Canidia. He's loathsome, I allow. There may or may not lurk a pearl beneath his puckered brow. But see his eyes that follow mine. Love lasts there anyhow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Who Has Seen the Wind by Christina Rossetti. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Who has seen the wind? Neither I nor you. But when the leaves hang trembling, the wind is passing through. Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. But when the trees bow down their heads, the wind is passing by. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Wind by Robert Louis Stevenson. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. I saw you toss the kites on high and blow the birds about the sky, and all around I heard you pass like ladies' skirts across the grass. O wind, a blowing all day long, O wind, that sings so loud a song. I saw the different things you did, but always you yourself you hid. I felt you push, I heard you call, I could not see yourself at all. O wind, a blowing all day long, O wind, that sings so loud a song. O you, that are so strong and cold, O blower, are you young or old? Are you a beast of field and tree, or just a stronger child than me? O wind, a blowing all day long, O wind, that sings so loud a song. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.